ज्ञानतिमरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जना शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. Okay, welcome to our call, dear devotees. And I think it's time for me to create some sort of a reading order. So, in the order of appearance, but being partial to Vindhyavali Mataji, we will let her go first. Vindhyavali Mataji, and then
Sutapa.
Tapa Mataji, and then we have Sukomal Radhe Mataji.
Niral Prabhu just texted he can't join today.
Wow, all right. She will be dearly, dearly missed. And I see Meera is also joining us here. So I think I should rather put all this in electronic format. Okay, so I have Vindhyavali Mataji, then Sutapa Mataji, then I'm copying from the old one that I had created, so just rearranging the names. Sukomal Radhe Mataji, and then
Varshana.
Archana. We have Varshana. Did I see Varshana?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, Mataji. Varshana
Fantastic.
Mataji
Yeah,
and then
I heard,
Archana.
I heard
Archana,
one.
Anya, and then
Right, right. Archana Mataji. They have paid fees for only one, so I'll just put one name. Archana.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada. So we have Vindhyavali Mataji, Sutapa Mataji, Sukumal Radhe Mataji, Varshana Mataji, Archana Mataji, and then we have who else do we have here?
Meera
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna
Krishna
Mataji is
Mataji.
there. Hare Krishna Meera, you'll be able to read?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, and anybody I'm missing? No? Okay, so then we go here, bring it into the chat. I'm going to post that into the chat window here momentarily. Okay, so this is the beginning and the end. And let me start sharing the screen with you all. And while I'm sharing the screen, hoping to do it the right this time, I just wanted to welcome those of you who are watching us on Facebook over here live. Hemalata Patel Mataji, Vijay Lakshmi Mataji, Dilip Bhai Patel Prabhu, Vidya Vadhu Devi Dasi. Dandavat pranams to all of you, dear devotees, and we will get started with the first person going in and reading from chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita. Vindhyavali Mataji, unmute yourself and read, please.
Nature, the enjoyer and consciousness. Text 1 and 2. Arjuna said, "Oh, my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, and the field and the knower of the field, and of knowledge and the object of knowledge." The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field." Text 3. O son of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies, and to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. That is my opinion. Hare Krishna, Sutapa Mataji.
Text 4. Now please hear my brief description of this field of activity and now it is constituted, what its changes are, whence it is produced, who that knower of the field of activities is, and what his influences are. Text 5. That knowledge of the field of activities and the knower of activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings. It is specially presented in Vedanta Sutra with all reasoning as to cause and effect. Hare Krishna. Shukumal Radhe Mataji.
Thank you. Text 6 and 7. The five great elements, false ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses, and the mind, the five sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms, and convictions, all these are considered in summary to be the field of activities and its interactions. Text 8 through 12. Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self realization, and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. Varshana Mataji.
Thank you so much, Krishna. I shall now explain the knowledge, knowing which you will taste the eternal Brahman. Eternal. Brahman, the spirit beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. Text 14. Everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes, heads, and faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, the super soul exists, pervading everything. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Text 15. The super soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time, he is the master of all the modes of material nature. Text 16. The supreme truth exists outside and inside of all living beings, the moving and the non moving. Because he is subtle, he is beyond the power of the material senses to see or to know. Although far, far away, he is also near to all. Hare Krishna. Meera Mataji.
Text 16 or text 17. Although the super soul appears to be divided among all beings, he is never divided. He is situated as one. Although he is the maintainer of every living entity, it is to be understood that he devours and develops all. Text 18. He is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness and matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge. He is object of knowledge and he is goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. Hare Krishna.
19.
Mataji, I
Thus the
can.
feet. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
I'm sorry.
I joined, so if you can put me in the list anytime.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, indeed.
Thank you. Okay. Hare Krishna. Text 19. Thus, the field of activities, the body, knowledge, and the knowable have been summarily described by me. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain to my nature. Material nature and living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformation and the modes of matter are products of material nature. Hare Krishna. In the
Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyments in this world. Text 22. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil amongst various species. Vasutapa Mataji.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Text 23. Yet in this body there is another transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and the permitter, and who is known as the super soul. Text 24. One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. Hare Krishna. Shukumal Rate Mataji.
Thank you. Text 25. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person. Oh, was I to read 25?
25.
Yeah, sorry. Text 25. Some perceive the super soul within themselves through meditation, others through the cultivation of knowledge, and still others through working without fruitive desires. Text 26. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. Vashana Mataji.
Hare, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Text 27. O chief of Bharatas, know that whatever you see in existence, both the moving and the non moving, is only a combination of the field of activity and the mover of the field. Text 28. One who sees a super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. Hare Krishna.
Text 29. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere in every living being does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus he approaches the transcendental destination. Text 30. One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees. Hare Krishna. Meera Mataji.
Text 31. When a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains to the Brahman conception. Text 32. Those with the vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature. Despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. Simi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 33. The sky, due to the subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all pervading. Similarly, the soul, situated in Brahman vision does not mix with the body, though situated in that body. O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all the universe, so does the living entity, one within the body, eliminate the entire body by consciousness. Hare Krishna. Vindhyavali Mataji.
Text 35. Those who see with eyes of knowledge the difference between the body and the knower of the body, and can also understand the process of liberation from bondage in material nature, attain to the supreme goal. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, let's do a little bit of reflection before we go into the verse of the day. And today's Thursday. Bring your reflection fast.
Mataji takes 20. There's a word that the material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless.
Hmm.
What does that mean that the beginningless means? It was always there or like
It
that?
is all, yeah, it is always there, and in this context we can we can definitely ask that very logical question, that if Krishna created us, then did we not, were we not, do we not have a beginning, right? If he created us, then that means that we have a beginning, right? So that part of that knowledge is not known to us, right? And so that's why we also see things like from times immemorial. That's a word also that Prabhupada uses all the time. So when we are saying beginningless here, definitely for Krishna, we know that he is beginningless. And with our intellect, it's very difficult for us to understand, right? That what does it mean? Like what was there before Krishna was there, right? Like that. So we can think about it. So it's an inconceivable thing, but he is by definition, God is one who is always there. And so we can't answer those questions as to who created God and things like that, because he's the original creator. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana.
Parakarana.
Right? So that's how he's defined there. Okay. So when here we are saying beginningless, it is because that we do not know when we had a beginning. It's not that we didn't have a beginning. It's also the fact that did Krishna create us as souls, or we are just parts and parcel of Krishna, like that, that is what Krishna is. So the word beginningless has to be understood in that term. Yeah.
Can I ask something, Shraddha
Yeah,
Mataji?
sure.
So in text 15, it says that the super soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. So is it the same thing, kind of like the beginningless thing?
Yes, no, but this is more clear. This one is very, very clear. When we
Oh,
are saying, yeah, beginningless is because we do not know when there was a beginning. So we are saying, we don't know. So he's beginningless that way. That his beginning is not defined. So he is beginningless. The soul is beginningless and Krishna is beginningless, like that. But here, when they are saying he doesn't have any senses, we are talking clearly about material senses. Right? Because Krishna has spiritual senses, and that's why we say Krishna Indriya Priti. Krishna ki indriyon ko khush karna, right? You have to do something that is favorite, that is liked by Krishna. So like that.
so Krishna is without any material senses. He has only the spiritual senses.
Exactly. And that's why Prabhupada later on or before this, actually in Bhagavad Gita, in one of the purports, I don't remember which one, but he says that foolish people say that actually you should concentrate on the Krishna within that Krishna, right? So the Krishna that came to Mathura and was playing the flute, they are saying, no, you should focus on the Krishna within him, which means that they are saying that Krishna's body is made of material. So you should actually be concentrating on the real Krishna, the real God inside the body. But that goes against the concept of incarnation, right? Incarnation basically means that somebody was on the 17th floor and he decided to come to the ground floor to visit those who are on the ground floor and do a few activities, right? Like if you're on the 17th floor of a building, you can come down and you can purchase something and then go back up, right? Or you can hire a taxi and go somewhere and then come back and then go back up, like that. So in incarnation, what happens is that particular form already exists in the spiritual world. And then from there, they just, as if they're taking a parachute and they're coming down in the self same body. So when Krishna comes here, we are not able to distinguish between material and spiritual. And so when Krishna comes here, to us, he might just appear like an ordinary man, unless he does some lila. And that's also one of the reasons Krishna does all these leelas, to show his superiority, and so that people will, be in wonder, and they will relish the pastimes, and in that way they will remember Krishna. So otherwise, Krishna's body, might look like ours. Prabhupada said he's 5 feet, 5 feet 10 inches, like that. When he's here, he might look like an ordinary man.
So then the super soul is not like it says in the next one that it cannot be, it appears to be divided, but it is not divided. It is one.
There you go. And
So
another
again,
very difficult to understand, right? Because what is super soul? Super soul is just a plenary expansion of
okay.
Kshirodakshay Vishnu.
Oh,
The Vishnu who's living in the milk ocean, right? There were
yeah.
three Vishnus that is said. Do we remember who the three Vishnus are?
Yeah.
Arnadaksai, Kshirodaksai, Garbhodaksai.
Garbhodakshay.
Mahavishnu.
Mahavishnu, I'm sorry.
Vishnu. And then on what Udak is he lying? On what ocean is he lying?
Milk.
So you said,
With,
no, you said Garbhodak, which is
Milk ocean.
water. Then you said Kshirodak, which is milk. And then where does Mahavishnu?
Uh,
Vitara River.
Vaitarani River. Okay, good. Yeah, but what ocean? Yeah, Vaitarani River.
Raja River.
Okay. But then what is the name of the ocean, which is that river is in the form of an ocean? What's the name of that ocean? Because all of them are Dakshayi, right? They all of them are lying. Ashayi means to lie. So all three of them are lying down on some sort of a water, right? So
Karana.
Karana Dakshayi.
Karana
Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic memory. The Karana Dakshayi Vishnu. So there are three Vishnus, right? So Shira Dakshayi Vishnu is the Vishnu who lives in a planet, right? That where is that milk ocean? We have never seen oceans of milk here, right? So that milk ocean is actually a planet in our universe.
Dhruva planet.
Yes, Dhruva planet, which is also known as Dhruva planet. That is where there's an ocean of milk. That's where he goes. Okay, that's where he stays with Lakshmi. You see that picture. And then he also expands and he comes into everybody's heart. And actually, not even everybody's heart, he even goes into the atoms. So Brahma Samhita says that, right? Andantarasta paramanu, right? That one, that particular verse talks about it. He enters into everything like that. So, so Sukomal Radhimati it comes in that balance of inconceivable things, right? That how does he stay here? And like, for example, they say Krishna never leaves his devotees, right? And so he's with his devotees in Vrindavan, but then Krishna comes here to do the pastimes, right? It's very difficult to understand from without like that. How is it possible for a person to be at two places at the same time? But in the transcendental realm, it's very much possible. And he will come in his self same form, and they will also come. His close, very close confidants will also come down with him for the lila. And then, so is it that when he comes here, then is the Golok where he stays, is it empty at that time? And then by that logic, it should always be empty because Krishna goes from one universe to another universe to another universe to another universe. That's why it's called his Leela is Nitya Leela. Why is it Nitya? Because it's constantly happening, either in our universe or next one or some universe, he's doing something like that. So does it mean that he's never at home like that? No, he's also at home. Very difficult. And this was something that boggled Narad Muni also. He saw a glimpse of that here when Krishna was living with his wives, 16,800, right? Whatever the number is. And he was living and he had built different palaces, individual palace for each one of his wives. And so Narad went to one and he saw Krishna was with his wife and, he was having breakfast. He went to the other one. He was doing some puja. He went to the next one. He was playing with his kids. So it's like, how is that possible? Right? So Krishna is able to do that.
Sarvam Paryami.
So Mataji, that is Karana ocean.
Karna.
Yeah.
Karnodakshai.
Causal ocean. Karan means
Causal
cause.
ocean.
Yeah,
Causal
that's
ocean.
causal ocean, right? That's why sometimes when we are reading the English, we say casual ocean. It's not a casual ocean.
No, but the spelling is different.
The spelling is different, exactly. So if people are not paying attention, they will just say casual ocean. It's not casual ocean. It is causal, cause, karan, karanodakshai, karanodak.
Mataji, I wanted to ask about 1321, where it says, nature is to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of various sufferings and enjoyments in this world.
Yeah.
So nature is Krishna?
And well, nature is Krishna's material energy.
Okay, that's Maya. So we can
Maya.
read it as
Yeah,
Maya.
nature is Maya. You can read it as Maya, exactly.
Maya is the cause of all material causes.
Yeah. So this is a very interesting thing that Maya is is creating all these things, right? Material energy is used to create the low material world. But it is for the stupid soul to think that that I am this body. Right? The material
Living
energy has created the
entity
body. Now we are
is
making
the
that
cause
distinction.
of suffering. So we suffer because of our soul, basically.
Not we suffer because of our soul. We are the soul. And we suffer because of this false illusion, the false ego. Ego means I am something, right? So the true ego is that I am the soul. And the false ego is I am this body, right? So because of this, so it's the soul will suffer.
Identification.
Identify that I am this body. And who are you? I'm this body, right? And so yeah, so the soul will the soul will think that I'm this body, and because of thinking that I'm this body, it will suffer. If you don't think that you are this body, for example, I have this scarf around my neck, I can take a pair of scissors and I can cut it. Nothing's going to happen to me. I won't say a word of, I won't utter a painful word. Why? Because I know this is not me, right? But if I take off a pair of knife and start chopping off my fingers, then I will shout like nobody's business. Why? Because I think I am this body. Now, for a dead body, you can chop off the hand of a dead body and it doesn't complain because there's no soul inside it to complain, right? So this is what this particular verse is also saying. In this chapter, we also read, that um, there's a very nice word. I'm just trying to remember what that was. I'm looking at here on my screen. Basically, what it was saying was that you should know what is the effect of the influence of the soul. right? What its influences are. That was the word it used. I can see that where it was. But anyway, so what its influences are. So this is what the influence is, that because of the presence of the soul in the body, there is a sensation of pain. There's that consciousness is there, right? Otherwise, the soul is left. There's no problem there. So we have to understand not to identify ourselves with this, with the body. And we did that exercise. I think few months ago, we did exercise, and where I said that there's a game that kids play a lot. Vesha Kapoor also uses that, and he says, okay, fine, I'm going to tell you to do certain things, and you do, right? So okay, so touch your nose. Come on, play with me. Touch your nose. Okay, touch your hand. Touch your shoulder. Touch your eye. Come on, camera. Archana. Okay, touch your ears. Touch your ears. Touch your lips. Touch your heart area. Okay, touch your neck. Touch your hand. Touch your thigh. Touch your foot. Touch your neck. Touch your chin. Touch your lips. Touch your forehead. Touch yourself.
Goes to the heart.
Goes to the heart.
Right?
Good is that?
Right? That thing that you were not able to touch is actually you. Right? And I'll tell you one more exercise. And you close. Okay, now look at any object that you have. Pick up any object that you have around you. Glasses. Okay. Anything. So Kumal rather took off her glasses. So I think anything that you have, get it small, right? Okay. Look at it nicely. Remember its color, the shape, the size. Okay. Now close your eyes. And now bring that image and don't move at all. Okay. Now you try to move away from that image. Okay, let's open our eyes and let's share our experiences.
I saw my pencil,
It faded away.
green color,
All right.
and then it's a long one.
Okay.
It has sharpened,
Mm-hmm.
and it has eraser at the back.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
And from there, I moved my thing to a
So when you try
book.
when you try to move yourself away, what happened? Did you try to move yourself away, or did you try to move the pencil?
I didn't move the pencil.
You moved yourself?
Yeah, I moved my vision, closing my eyes.
Yeah, that is fine. But after closing the eyes and after looking at the pencil, you were supposed to remove yourself from the pencil, move away from the pencil.
Move away from the pencil, okay. But I moved my vision to hear everybody.
Your vision, right?
I saw everybody.
Yeah. Right. So you see where you were seeing that pencil, and okay, let's see. Let's take a few more reflections. Anybody else wants to volunteer?
Mataji.
To them? Varshana Mataji is raising her hand.
Yes, Mataji, when I moved away myself from the pen, it started fading away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It was no more there. The a little reflection slowly it went off.
Okay, good. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yes, Mataji, same thing happened with me as like Vashana Mataji told. I was seeing the pen very clearly, the color and shape, and then slowly it was moving away, and there was a color means was there. Only the wall and the room I'm sitting, the color was there, but that is also very like not so bright, very a tint.
Okay, good. Anybody else wants to tell us?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Actually, I was looking at my phone and looked at all the details and all the alerts.
Mm-hmm.
So when I closed my eyes, I was visualizing what I saw my phone. And when you said move, I actually moved my attention away from from my.
That's what I did too.
Yeah, and I kind of fixed it on this group. But there's a little bit of that phone image was on my mind at the same time. It wasn't completely moving away. I
Right.
didn't completely move away from it 100%. It was lingering.
Very
For me also the same thing, Mataji. That pencil picture is there. But at the same time, I moved from there and I see everybody where they are.
How did you see you were supposed to close your eyes?
No, I'm closing only my vision.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what
Okay.
I'm thinking.
Good.
My
Good.
thoughts.
Very
But
good.
I know my pencil is there and I know that color and everything I remembered. And I see everybody in this also.
Yes.
But nothing faded for me.
Very good.
Why?
Anybody else?
Mataji, I could replace, I had this beautiful Tulsi pot with me.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, so I looked at it, and then when I closed my eyes, I could visualize it.
Mhm.
And then gradually I could I could replace this with another image.
Good. Good. Anybody else? So who was trying to move away? You were sitting on the chair.
The image was moved.
The vision
Same
was
way,
moving
vision,
away
vision.
from
That's
it.
what
No,
mine
but
happened when
I
you
asked
sent
you
me.
to move yourself away.
We have to get up and go, no?
No,
Move away
the
means what?
mind.
Mind? I don't know.
Close your eyes one more time. Let's do this one more time.
Mataji,
Yeah,
mine was a
means
complete blank. That's why I didn't volunteer. So what does that mean? I mean, I couldn't visualize anything.
Okay, so look harder at that object.
No, I looked at the object, but
And
when
then
you
close.
say that,
Yeah, close and think about that object. Close and think like you had a pen, right?
Okay, Mataji, I have one.
oh, I have my
Okay.
glasses. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, just think about it.
Mataji, when we were listening like Shraddha Mataji's voice, then the mind was telling, Shukumar Radhe Mataji was right that the mind that is moved,
Yeah.
because we were following your instructions and then
So where did the mind move?
from it shifted.
From where?
Put the attention.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
from
I'm
the
not getting that.
from the
Object.
image of the pen to
Some other.
somewhere else.
Something else. Yeah.
Right. And who's
That-
moving?
hmm.
Super
Mind
soul.
is moving now. Vision is thinking of moving. That,
What is vision thinking? What is vision and how does it think?
but from pencil to you,
But
it
who is that
moved.
one? Who is that one who's moving? Who is it that is moving?
Soul
I don't
also.
Yeah, it is the soul. The
Soul is moving.
focusing. Yeah, the focus of the soul is moving from one
Uh,
thought to another, and these thoughts are manifested on your mind, on the screen of your mind. You're seeing the pen, right? So where you are seeing that pen, that is your mind. And when I said try to withdraw yourself, somebody tried to move away, right? That is you. That is the soul.
mm,
But it's very
got it.
different from the body. The body
Yeah,
was
yeah.
still there. All the time the body was there, but there was something going on inside. And there's a whole lot that you can do inside without moving the body even an inch, right?
Mm,
Because you can close your eyes now, you can go on the top of the Himalayas, you can go
yeah.
down to Pondicherry, right? To the mind, you can mind can
I
take
can go to India.
anywhere, right? So we should also try to go to Golok Vrindavan,
Yeah, Gola Vrindavan.
right? So that is what they mean when they say that the pastimes are in your mind, the pastimes are happening in your heart. So when you start focusing so much on Krishna, then your memory will be revived and all those pastimes will be projected on the screen of your mind. Just as today on the screen of your mind, you saw a pen or a pencil or a pair of glasses or blank, you didn't want to focus on anything like that. So, so because we try to identify ourselves with I am this body, so then whenever something happens to this body, I will feel. Somebody comes and says something nasty to the body, then we will feel, right? And that's why I always keep on telling you that no matter what anybody says to you, right, you are bad, you are a scatterbrain, you are no good, right? How does it matter? Nobody can ever come and tell the soul that you are a
Yeah,
scatterbrain soul,
telling the
right?
body.
You can only tell the body, and you are not the body, so why are you bothered, right? If somebody goes and says something to Mr. XYZ, you're not bothered. We start to get bothered only when people start saying something about this body. And the problem, why are we bothered? Because we think we are this body. And then
But
second thing, which where we feel even worse, is that when people say something about our children. And that's why Prabhupada says the children are the extension of your body.
Extension.
but still we feel pain, Mataji.
Still we feel pain. When,
Yeah, means when somebody is telling something,
yeah,
means that is the question. Means the last time we
huh?
discussed in the last
Yeah,
class that
yes,
we should not think about if someone agitate, we should not means tolerant and everything. The points, but
practice, yes,
still we feel the pain. And so I was thinking that these all are coming from the expectations. So if we kill the expectations, then maybe
yes.
we won't feel that pain that much.
Yes, 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 absolutely. Expectation plus knowledge. There is always an expectation that such a person is supposed to behave in this way to me. When they see me, they're supposed to smile. If I'm wearing a new cloth, they should compliment me. Right?
Yeah.
There's expectation is there. And expectation minus achievement. Expectation minus achievement is equal to satisfaction. Achievement minus expectation, sorry, other way around.
Yeah, I was
Achievement
thinking.
minus expectation
Yeah.
equal to satisfaction. Right? So if your expectation is zero, then whatever you achieve, you are satisfied with it.
Mhm.
You know? So the lower down your expectation, but we always go with that expectation. I am this, and therefore others are supposed to behave in this way. And they don't behave in this way, then I have a right to get angry at them. Right? Parikshit Maharaj's story, right? Parikshit Maharaj was very hungry and tired and thirsty, and he went into the ashram of Shamak Rishi. In Shamak Rishi, he was expecting that I am the emperor of the world. If I enter anybody's hermitage, they are supposed to get up and offer me water. And Shamak Rishi continued to be in meditation because he was meditating. He was not aware of his surroundings. And so then the king picked up a dead snake and threw it around his neck. Like that, right? Anger. Because of expectation. So our practice should be to start lowering the expectation. How do you lower the expectation? The third verse of Shikshastakam says that. How do you lower expectation? Trinadapi sunichena taror amanina manadena kirtanya sadahari. So you know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in all his wisdom, did not sit down and write a big grantha to tell us about what devotional service and how we should live our life. He just gave it 8 verses. And if you pick up just this verse number 3 from Shikshastakam, which says, Trinadapi sunichena, you should be lower than the blade of a grass. Taroreva sahishuna, you should be tolerant like a tree. Right? Amanina, manadina. Amanina means do not expect respect. Manadina, but give respects to others. So when you develop these qualities, then kirtaniya,
Idea to Krishna.
then you will kirtaniya sadahari. Kirtaniya sadahari, then you'll be able to chant the names of the Lord. Up and until we do not inculcate these habits, right? Taroreva sahasnuna, amanina, manadina. So then we will not be able to chant properly.
So in these 8 to 12 texts, also it
Yes.
says right there, all
Manipam,
these.
yes.
I mean, I don't think we can even master one of them. There's so many. Humility and
Yes.
kindness and
Yes.
non-violence.
Yes,
It's very hard.
it's very hard, Mataji.
No,
That
no,
is
why not? No, no, that's fine. You can start all of them at a certain level, right? Like for example, when I was a small girl, very small, 2 years, 3 years old, and um, and I saw Divyangi's answer. She said causal ocean, and she's right. So Vidyavali is there, Vidyavadu is there, and she will tell us there. So when I was small, I thought that the most difficult thing in the world was to open the latch of a door. I thought it was impossible. It was very difficult. Why? Because I was a tiny tot, just
Cannot reach.
tall, cannot reach it, don't have the strength to do it, and I'm scared my fingers will get twisted. So this was the most difficult thing. And to know that if you have come to a gate, where they put this little thing, the latch thing that you go through
Yeah.
the gate in the front of the houses. So I never knew which way they will open, and I always used to think like if somebody elder was doing it, that they are the smartest people in the world. They know how to open a gate like that. So So in the beginning, these things might appear difficult. For example, if you all remember, when we started reading chapter 13, you said that it's a very difficult chapter. Right? But now that you have read it again, it seems less difficult. You have discussed it, it seems less difficult, right? By the time we are done with the Ekadashi to Ekadashi regimentation, this will start feeling familiar. So what are we doing? Abhyas. The things that are difficult, you
Yes.
start practicing them and then it will become better. Similarly, if you're saying it is difficult to practice these things, yes, in the beginning it might be difficult, but it happens. But it'll gradually it'll come, and then it'll become a second nature to you. Second nature to you. And so in the beginning, there is a lot of, and we talked about the competency model, that in the beginning we are not competent, which means that it's saying pridelessness. Okay, pridelessness means you should not have pride. So in the beginning, I am not prideless. I'm very egoistic, but I don't even know that I'm like that. Others might be whispering behind my back and saying, like, look at this obnoxious skunk of a person. But in the front they'll just smile. Whatever, I might be at a position where they're doing this, behaving like that. So I'm incompetent. I'm not competent to be prideless, but I don't even know. But the moment you come and read this chapter of Bhagavad Gita, then you are still incompetent, but you are knowledgeable. You know about that. So you're conscious of that. So earlier you were incompetent and you were unconscious. Now you are competent. You're still incompetent, but you're conscious of the fact. The second thing is now, okay, like pridelessness, pridelessness. Now you constantly watch your thoughts like, oh, this is a bad thought. I shouldn't have thought it. This is smelling of pride. This is a bad thought. The thoughts are still coming. You're doing all that. So now what is happening is that you're becoming competent because you are now stopping those kinds of thoughts. And now you're saying, okay, I'm competent and I'm prideless. Or at least I'm moving towards 100% pridelessness. And so I'm doing that, but I'm conscious of it. These thoughts are coming. I have to consciously close them and shut them off and stop my mind, scold my mind, whatever I have to do to prevent these thoughts from coming. And then the fourth stage is that you become competent and unconscious, that it becomes a second nature for you, that you will never be full of pride. No matter what happens, that thought itself will not come to you, right? So if you are at the stage, so the good thing is that to move from stage 1 to stage 2 happens like that, right? In the beginning, a person did not know that he's supposed to be prideless, and he was full of pride, did not know he's supposed to be prideless. That's fine. The moment somebody comes and says that, hey, you are a human being, you are a devotee, you are supposed to be prideless, then now immediately just one sentence switches him from one place to another place, one quadrant to another quadrant, one level to another level, where originally I did not know what I was supposed to do, and also did not know what I did not know. And now I'm still, I'm not able to do that, but at least I know. So it takes just a fraction of a second to move from that stage to the next stage. Now, the other two stages will take some time, right? Having known that I have got this deficit, now to how to fill that gap will take some time. Anartha nivritti, that's what called as anartha nivritti stage, in the 9 stages of devotional service that we are talking. And then from anartha nivritti, then you will go to a stage where it becomes like a second habit, where you start getting ruchi asakti. You will do it because it's your second nature. You got the taste. I am like that. Whenever something nice comes to me, I will never be proud. It comes, you don't have to put any efforts. Like it's effortless. You do it, right? Like in the beginning, trying to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, take a shower so that you can start go to Mangalarti at 4:30, reach temple at 4:30. It's a nightmare. The mind wants to sleep, the body wants to sleep. You drag yourself out of the bed, then you twist the alarm a little bit. 5 more minutes, I want to sleep, right? So you're doing it. You're going to Mangalarti, but you see, then over a period of time, what's going to happen is that you won't even need an
Becomes
alarm.
habit.
Actually, you won't even need an alarm to go to Mangalarti, and you'll be looking forward to going to it. So there will not, that thought itself will not come that let me sleep one more wink. Your thought itself will not come. So you will all reach that stage. It's a matter of practice. And that's what we're doing. And that's what we have to do. But the most important thing is that we have to be conscious of the fact. We have to be conscious of the fact that I am doing. I am doing something, and be conscious of the fact that is it right or is it wrong? Like that. So with that thought, let us go to Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, verse number 16, because we can continue our conversation there. Okay. And I don't know whether we'll have time to do that or not, but let me just bring us. This is chapter 12, right? Because we're finishing chapter 12 off, which we started in Kartik. And whose turn is it to read? I think Vindhyavali Mataji's, is it? Okay.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. So give us the Sanskrit.
Anapeksha suchi daksha udasino gatavyadaha sarvarambha parityagi yomad bhakt same priya.
Bhaktaha same priyaha. Very nice. Okay, next. Whose turn is it next?
Yes, Mataji, just one minute.
Give us the
Synonyms. Anapekshaha, neutral. Shuchi, pure. Daksha, yes, expert. Udashinaha, free from care. Gata vatha, vyathaha, freed from all distress. Sarva arambha, of all the endeavors. Puritagi, renouncer. Yeah, anyone who. Mad bhaktaha, my devotee. Sha, he. Me, to me, priyaha, very clear, very dear.
My devotee who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result, is very dear to me. Varshana.
Thank you, Madhuri. Hare Krishna. Money may be offered to a devotee, but he should not struggle to acquire it. If automatically, by the grace of Supreme, money comes to him, he is not agitated. Naturally, a devotee takes a bath at least twice in a day and rises early in the morning for devotional service. Thus, he is naturally clean, both inwardly and outwardly. A devotee is always expert because he fully knows the essence of all activities of life, and he is convinced of the authoritative scriptures. A devotee never takes the part of a particular party. Therefore, he is carefree. A devotee never takes part of a particular party. Therefore, he is carefree. He is never painted because he is free from all designations. He knows that his body is a designation. So, if there are some bodily pains, he is free. The Hare Krishna Mataji, Archana Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, then with Pranam Varshana Mataji. The pure devotee does not endeavor for anything which is against the principles of devotional service. For example, constructing a big building requires great energy, and a devotee does not take to such business if it does not benefit him by advancing his devotional service. He may construct a temple for the Lord, and for that he may take all kinds of anxiety, but he does not construct a big house for his personal relations. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Okay, a few minutes for reflections. What do you think? And welcome, Aruni Mataji. I don't know when you joined.
Thank you.
Uh, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, I really liked it that devotee is naturally clean both inwardly and outwardly. A devotee is always expert because he fully knows the essence of all activities of life, and he is convinced of the authoritative scripture. So it's so
How do
nice
you
to
become an
read the
expert?
scriptures, and they give you so much of solace.
Okay, but how do you become an expert?
They practice, Mataji.
And what is an expert? So you have to be expert at what?
Devotional service.
And what is devotional service?
Smaranam,
Devotional
Shravanam,
service consists of
Hmm?
Mataji, at 20 is devotional service. This is what I feel.
Say that again.
Thinking of Krishna 24/7 is devotional service. His devotees and
So if you're
being
able
their
to
lotus feet, serving everybody.
if you're able to think about Krishna 24/7, then that is being an expert, right?
I feel that.
It's a brainstorm session. Speak out whatever comes to your mind. There's no right and a wrong there.
Mataji, as far as I remember, I asked this question, means what do you mean by expert? And you told in every aspect.
Yes,
So you
expert.
have to be expert in every field.
Yeah. So what is the Sanskrit for expert here?
Daksha, Dakshaha.
Right. So Daksha is expert.
Ji.
Yeah. So of course, I mean, there's devotional service. There are items of devotional service. There are different ways in which that you can do devotional service. That is fine. We should be good at it. No doubt about it. Yes, yasti bhaktir bhagavatiya kanchana sarver gunas tattva samasate haraha. So when a devotee gets all the good qualities of demigod, so you will get all those things, right? But what we have to remember here is that when you are trying to spread the mission of Krishna consciousness, right? When you're trying to spread the mission of Krishna consciousness, then you have to deal with the elements of the material world, right? For example, you say, okay, I want to spread Krishna consciousness, so I'm going to have a Harinam Sankirtan in Palo Alto, right? So how do you have Harinam Sankirtan in Palo Alto? What do you think will be involved there?
You need a place.
What
We
sort of
have to
expertise do you need?
You need a place and then
Association
devotees.
Yeah, no.
give the permission.
What sort of expertise do you need to organize a Harinam in your city? What sort of expertise do you think is required there?
Devoted people. You need devoted people.
No. Your expertise. You are the one organizing it. So what expertise?
I need to collect the people and the devotees.
Okay, so ability to collect devotees. That is an
Devotees.
okay.
And then I need to have a place where I can
What
do
expert?
the chant.
What expertise is required for you to be able to
You
go
need
and
to
start
have
singing?
leadership.
You need to have
Leadership.
leadership. Okay. Then
Sometimes singing, Mataji, means you can sing a kirtan.
okay.
Kirtan.
Okay. So maybe you need to be a singer. All right. What else do you need? What else do you think you will need?
we have to take permission from the authorities to
All right.
go at that
Very
particular
good.
place.
Very good. Very good. So you need to take permission. So now you go to a permission to authority. What expertise do you need there?
To communicate with other people, to
Yes.
convince them.
To convince them. You see? To convince them. You can't just go and say, I do Hare Krishna, you also do Hare Krishna. There's a demon sitting on that table. We're going to give you permission. He doesn't believe in God. Right? So sometimes the devotees have to do all kinds of things that might appear, like, okay, I'm a devotee, I don't do this, I don't do that. That's why here in the purport, Prabhupada says very clearly that money may come, right? Where is it?
Right in the
In
first
the
line.
first sentence.
Yeah, money may be offered already. No, not this. If automatically by the grace of the Supreme money comes to him, he's not agitated. It should be like, I don't have anything to do with the money, let me throw away that money. A devotee is not going to do that. Devotee will say, okay, I got some money, good. Now let's think about how we can engage that in the service of Krishna. Now sometimes we go and give you $2 million, then we might say, okay, $2 million, let's go and distribute prasadam. So in like that, the $2 million will be gone. But a smart devotee will think of something else. Let me go and invest in a building. Let me purchase a building. Let me run a temple. The temple will generate its own funds, and then I'll be able to give prasadam, perennially all the time, rather than just $2 million worth of it. So there is some expertise that is required there, right? Not so devotional service involves all gamuts of life, on all sides of the life, and how do you handle this? And so sometimes a devotee might change their language, they might change their way, in order to, but the soul, the center for them for every activity that they do is that I am doing it for Krishna. That is the main thing that is there, right? I'm doing it for Krishna. I'm doing it for Krishna. I'm doing it for Krishna. Like that. So expert means he's expert in all the fields, and that expertise will come to you. And sometimes it will come to you like that, and sometimes it will come to you because you are a devotee of the Lord, and you are in touch with other devotees, and you draw upon their expertise.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, that Prabhuji, the one from home, who is the all in all of Honda, and he has given so much money to construct a temple in Mayapur, the one which is coming up.
Yeah, not
He
Honda.
has given so much money.
Yeah, General
Yes.
Motors.
Henry
General
Ford.
Motors, yeah. Henry Ford, yeah.
Yes, Ford. Yeah.
So good
What is
reflection.
his name, Mataji? Amendra Prabhu?
Ambarish.
Amrish.
Alfred Ford. So we will stop here. It's a very
Alfred
nice verse.
Ford.
We will continue. Yeah, we'll continue this verse on Sunday. But we'll have classes. We'll have Bhagavatam class tomorrow. We'll have Bhakti Vriksha on Saturday. And then Sunday, when we have a small class in the morning, we'll try to dig deeper. It's a deep verse. We need to cover some more aspects of that. We'll do that on Sunday. Okay. So I'll have to take your leave because the other call is starting on this same Zoom itself. So I'll like to take your permission. Thank you all of you who are watching us here on Facebook, as well as those of you who are watching on Zoom. And the first thing that I need to remember to do is to stop my live stream so that the next meeting doesn't go on Facebook.
Hare Krishna, Shraddha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so much. Mataji.
Vaishnavebhyo namo namo.